Imagine, for a moment, a profound loss. The kind that hollows you out and leaves an irreplaceable void. Now, imagine that in the wake of that grief, you discover a final, shocking act from the person you loved. An act that doesn't just neglect you, but seemingly erases you from their legacy. That's the heart-wrenching reality one Reddit user stumbled upon. A story that began with an unimaginable betrayal and, against all odds, led to a surprising triumph of family and fairness. It's a tale of a father's will, a multi-million-pound inheritance, and a glaring omission that threatened to tear a family apart forever. Before we dive deeper into this gripping journey of emotional turmoil, fractured relationships, and eventual reconciliation, please take a quick second to like this video, subscribe to our channel for more compelling Reddit stories, and leave a comment below sharing your thoughts on how you'd handle such a difficult situation. Your engagement truly helps us continue bringing these powerful narratives to life. Our story centers around an individual, let's call them Alex, who was reeling from the recent death of their father. The pain of loss was fresh, raw, and still overwhelmingly present when the time came for the reading of the will. It's a somber occasion under any circumstances, typically held in the sterile, hushed environment of a solicitor's office, where legal jargon often masks the profound human drama unfolding. Alex was there, alongside their two younger brothers, aged 21 and 23, both still quite young, perhaps a little naive, and certainly unprepared for the bombshell that was about to drop. The solicitor began detailing assets, investments, and properties, the entire tapestry of a life's financial accumulation. Alex listened, a knot of grief tightening in their stomach, but also with a quiet anticipation. Their father had been a successful man, and Alex, as the eldest, had always been involved in family discussions, always felt like an equal part of the unit. But then, the clauses specifying the distribution of the estate began. Each brother's name was mentioned, linked to substantial figures, culminating in an astonishing total of £3 million. £3 million, divided equally between the two younger siblings. A staggering amount that could set them up for life. And then, silence. Alex waited for their own name, waited for any mention, any stipulation, any recognition of their existence within their father's final wishes. The silence stretched, heavy and suffocating, until the solicitor neatly closed the file, concluding the proceedings. Alex had received nothing, absolutely, unequivocally nothing. It wasn't just about the money, though the sheer sum made the omission sting with an almost physical pain. It was about the message. It was a profound, public declaration that, in the eyes of their father, Alex was worth less. They were invisible. They were disposable. The room began to spin. The air grew thin. Alex could barely register the polite murmurs of the solicitor, or the perhaps confused, perhaps subtly triumphant, expressions on their brothers' faces. The world outside the office suddenly seemed a blur. How could this happen? How could a father, who had raised them, shared countless memories, and presumably loved all his children, make such a devastatingly unequal division? It was a betrayal that eclipsed the grief. A gaping wound opened right through the heart of their family, and deep into Alex's sense of self-worth. For days, Alex existed in a daze, cycling through waves of shock, hurt, and a simmering, righteous anger. The pain was multi-layered. The fresh sting of their father's death, compounded by the crushing feeling of being discarded. The brothers, perhaps sensing the monumental awkwardness or simply not knowing how to address such an unprecedented situation, kept their distance. The usual post-funeral comfort and shared grief were replaced by an icy chasm. Alex found themselves grappling with an unbearable internal conflict. Should they speak up? Should they demand an explanation? Or worse, A share? But what would that make them look like? Greedy? Uncaring in their grief? The thought of tearing their already fragile family further apart, especially so soon after their father's passing, was almost as unbearable as the injustice itself. The weight of it all was crushing. Alex knew they couldn't just accept it, not without breaking, but they also felt paralyzed, caught between a desire for fairness and a fear of damaging what little family unity remained. It was in this desperate state, feeling utterly alone and without recourse, that Alex turned to the internet, to the sprawling, often chaotic, but sometimes incredibly empathetic community of Reddit. With a heavy heart and trembling fingers, they typed out their story, laying bare the raw pain and the unbelievable injustice of their father's will. It was a cry for help, a shot in the dark, a desperate plea for guidance from strangers who had no vested interest other than to offer an honest perspective. And Reddit, as it often does, answered. The response was overwhelming. Threads filled with comments poured in, a torrent of sympathy, outrage, and practical advice. People from all walks of life, with their own experiences of family drama, legal battles, and emotional wounds, rallied around Alex. There were countless messages validating their feelings, confirming that their reaction was not just normal, but entirely justified. "You are not greedy for wanting what's fair," many said. "Your father's will was deeply unfair and hurtful." This outpouring of support was the first glimmer of light in what had felt like an endless night. But beyond the emotional validation, there was concrete advice. Lawyers weighed in, offering insights into inheritance laws and potential avenues for recourse. Psychologists and counselors spoke of the psychological impact of such betrayal and the importance of advocating for oneself. Most importantly, perhaps, many urged Alex to speak to their brothers, not with anger, but with an open heart, explaining the profound impact of their father's decision, not just on their financial future, but on their emotional well-being and their relationship as siblings. The community gave Alex the courage, the clarity, and the conviction to take the terrifying but necessary next step. They gave them the push to speak up for themselves. A push that Alex admitted they desperately needed, as they would likely have just accepted it and walked away with nothing otherwise. Armed with this newfound strength and the collective wisdom of thousands, Alex decided to act. They knew it wouldn't be easy. The conversation would be difficult, fraught with emotion, and potentially explosive, but it had to happen. Alex reached out to their brothers, suggesting they meet to discuss the will, not in an accusatory tone, but with an emphasis on understanding the implications for all of them. The meeting was tense. To say the least, the air was thick with unspoken words and raw emotions. Alex started not with demands, but by expressing their profound hurt, explaining how completely disregarded and unloved they felt by their father's final decision. They didn't focus on the money itself, but on the symbol of it, the feeling of being rendered invisible, an afterthought, while their younger brothers were set up for life. It was a delicate dance, navigating years of sibling dynamics and fresh grief. Alex spoke calmly, clearly, articulating the immense pain and the unfairness of it all. They explained how this wasn't just about a sum of money, but about the very fabric of their family, about fairness, about respect, and about healing the wound their father had inadvertently, or perhaps intentionally, inflicted. And to their immense relief, and perhaps even surprise, their brothers listened. Initially, there might have been defensiveness, perhaps some discomfort, but as Alex continued, pouring out the anguish they had suppressed for so long, something shifted. The younger brothers, perhaps caught up in the immediate shock of their inheritance, or simply oblivious to the depth of Alex's pain, began to truly comprehend the magnitude of their father's decision and its devastating effect on their elder sibling. They listened, and they understood. A crucial turning point came when they finally admitted they hadn't realized how hurtful it was at the time. They genuinely apologized, not just for their father's actions, but for their own initial lack of empathy, for not seeing the profound implications of the will beyond the financial windfall. It was a moment of profound relief, a crack in the wall of silence and resentment that had been building between them. The conversation, difficult as it was, became a catalyst for something beautiful. From there, things moved surprisingly quickly. With a renewed sense of familial unity, the three siblings sought legal advice together. They discovered that while a will is legally binding, there are often avenues to adjust its terms, especially when all beneficiaries are in agreement. There was, in fact, a simple, straightforward way to adjust things properly so that everyone was treated equally. The original Reddit poster, Alex, shared the wonderful news. They had reached an agreement. Their father's £3 million estate would be split 3 ways, equally among all 3 siblings. The relief, the vindication, the sense of justice finally served must have been overwhelming. Not only would Alex receive their fair share, but more importantly, the rift within their family had begun to heal. The brothers had come together, chosen empathy over entitlement, and righted a wrong that their father's will had created. The entire experience became a testament to the power of speaking up, of not silently enduring injustice, and of the incredible support that can be found in unexpected places, even in the vast, anonymous reaches of the internet. So, as everything is now being sorted and Alex is finally getting their fair share, this story stands as a powerful reminder. It shows us that even in the darkest moments, when betrayal feels absolute and hope seems lost, there is strength in vulnerability, power in a collective voice, and a chance for reconciliation even when family bonds seem irrevocably broken. It's a testament to the human spirit's capacity for empathy and the unexpected kindness of strangers. If you've ever found yourself in a similar situation, or simply want to share your thoughts on this incredible journey, leave a comment below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more extraordinary tales of human resilience and connection. Until next time, remember the power of your voice and the incredible difference it can make.